بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد الصادق الوعد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم انفعني بما علمتني وعلمني ما ينفعني وزدني علما والحمد لله على كل حال. If everyone can read salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Salatu wa salamun alayka ya sayyidi ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya sayyidi ya rahmatan lil alamin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the jewel and crown of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts, the inspirer to our minds, the awakener of our souls, the most honored one, the most praised one, the most revered one, the most generous one, the most kind one, undoubtedly the most beautiful one. None other than Sayyiduna wa Nabiyuna Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallam. I'm very cautious of the time. We was due to finish at 10, but as I mentioned, I gave Steve, who's leaving us now, and Amjad as much time as I could give them to speak and share their experiences. One of the biggest problems of our time, unfortunately, is that our youth, our youngsters, are far too quickly impressed and inspired by what they see on the movie screens. Hence why we named the title of this event Fast and Furious, Death Race. A lot of youngsters, when Fast and Furious is out, whether it was the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh installment and the eighth one that's coming up, a lot of youngsters will go and buy cinema tickets and go watch it on the big screen. And when we go and watch Fast and Furious or The Mechanic or any of these movies to do with cars, our youth will be sat there with popcorn and they'll see Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and the other cast watching this movie, excited that a Bugatti's come into it, or a Ferrari, or a Lamborghini Aventador, one of these big cars, supercars. They see these cars and they see Vin Diesel's behind it. He's dropping it into third gear and overtaking. He's going into sixth gear, he's putting his nitros on, and boom, he's gone. We've grown up playing Gran Turismo. We've grown up playing car games. We can download them onto our iPhones from the App Store. We see this and we think, wow. When they leave the cinema, it's impacted them so much that when they get into their car, be it a Micra or a Corolla or a Carina or a Ford, whatever they've got, a 500 to 1,500 pound car, that the insurance on that car is probably double the amount, especially in the BD area. We see that those young lads then try to impersonate, they try to reenact what the actors were doing. Precisely the point, it's acting. They have stuntmen, qualified professional people to drive those cars at those speeds. We watch Top Gear, and if we see a good racing driver on the road, we give him the title Stig. He's the Stig. This man's the fastest driver, awesome driver. Gets into a car and boom, he thinks, wow, I'm one fast driver, I'm a good driver. Look how I took that bend. Look how I missed that car. I took it through a gap, impossible, but I made it. He does it once, twice. The third time he dies. On the third time he's no longer with us. The young lad for Eid, 18, 19 years old, will ring up a hiring company and say, I want to hire a car out. He's 18, 19, he'll give a bogus or a fake ID, his brother's, he'll get his brother to hire him a car out. He's 18, hasn't passed his driving, 5 lads, they all chip in £250, for example. They hire a C63 or an E63 for Eid. And then that's it. They want to throttle this car. They want to throttle this car to a point that the car can't take no more. They will burn the wheels out. The tires will be completely bowled. They'll come back, suspension's not right. They've hired this car out. The hiring guys, they've made their money. They're paying the finance off. And they're getting it on and they make a bit of extra on top. The lads who are taking these cars, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, probably never ever have driven a C63 in their life. You ask him what is brake horsepower, BHP, they don't even know the BHP of the car. What's the torque on this car? They don't even know the torque on the car. They don't even know this driving terminology. BHP, torque. How fast is this car? Put it down full throttle, it's automatic and see. Don't know. They're going around sharp bends at silly speeds, thinking I'll take off, what is it, ESG? When you take off the DSG, you take it off and boom, my car's going to start. ESP, sorry. ESP, take it off. What does it stand for? Traction control, precisely what I was going to say. The traction control, take it off. Wet surface, the car's going to slide out. Boom. You're going to get such a beautiful drift around the corner. The tail end is going to come out. It's rear wheel, but boom. The car sticks on the road, he says. The car's glued onto this road. You're not going to lose control. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how good a driver you are, how good a car it is. I mentioned it yesterday in Leicester in a speech. Every dog has its day. One day this car is going to get you. Shall I give you the biggest example? We all look up to these, to the point we were putting his photos up on our Facebook pages. Paul Walker. Paul Walker, his entire life lived in a car. He was driving a car for a living, i.e. Fast and Furious. He made his name from that. How did he die? The Prophet ﷺ said, the way you live is the way you will die. And he died racing. He was doing ridiculous speeds in a Porsche and over 100 miles per hour. Presumably he was drunk, lost control of the car, and boom, his life ended. There was a brother who contacted me last night. Amjad and Steve and Athar's brother are examples of those who have lost a family member directly caused by death by dangerous driving or reckless driving. This brother, he messaged me on Facebook saying, 10 years ago, I was that reckless driver that caused the death. He said, I served time in prison. I looked at his profile picture and he had a beard and zulfa, beautiful, completely reformed. I asked him, I said, brother, catch a train and come to Bradford. I'll pay for your expenses, I'll cover your costs, no problem. Come and share your experience. We've got family members who have been directly impacted by losing one of their close ones. You are on the other side, you're actually the driver that caused this death. Come and share your experience of how it was like serving time in a prison. How it was like facing the parents of that victim, that young boy who died at your hands. Because of your reckless driving, you are directly responsible. It's your fault. You are responsible that when you get into the car, you tell every passenger, put your seatbelt on. You're responsible, it's your duty, you're a driver. 18-year-olds are irresponsible, unfortunately. They want to drive very quickly, it's cool. Hiring cars are very cool. People think, wow, the man's driving an awesome car, 18, 19, 20, 25-year-old pulling around in a 63 plate, 64, 65 plate car. How? We've worked all our lives and we ain't got that. How's he managed to do that? Where do the parents come into this? Parents know their sons are earning haram money. They're shooting on the streets, they've got a graft and a round going. They know they're doing haram on the streets, and boom, where are they going to put that money? Where are they going to invest that money into? Boom, I'll go hire a car out. I'll put it into cars. I'll start, this is what's happening. There's a game going on out there. And you know who suffers in the end? Our sons and daughters, our brothers. They end up getting caught because of a moment's fun. A few minutes of, you know, when I was explaining to Amjad, when you drive fast, I've driven cars. I'm not going to boast and brag and say that I'm Nigel Mansell or Michael Schumacher. No, I'm far from it. I've had crashes in cars as well. I'll be very honest with you. I've had an RS6, I hit it. I was doing a ridiculous speed, I hit it. I'm probably not the most perfect person to speak about this, but you should still stop wrong, irrespective. If the adhan's going on and it's time for salah, is it your duty to tell your son, go and read salah even if you don't? Yes, it is. You should tell your son, read your salah. Ad-dalu ala al-khayri kafa'ilihi. The one who indicates towards good, whoever indicates to doing something good, he will get the ajr of the one who does that good. It is our job to tell you. I've sat in cars. The moment the foot goes down onto that accelerator, and you're dealing with a machine that has 600, 700, 800 bhp, brake horsepower. I'm talking serious amount of power and speed. Believe you me, if you've driven fast cars, you will know, no matter how good you are, there will be a sensation that goes through your leg and your body, your heart's trembling. You may look cool on the outside, but only Allah and you know how your heart trembles on the inside. How it feels. That jolt you get when you move back into the driver's seat. And you go, whoa. And you know what's worse? The boys egg him on. Do it again. Do it again. The thrill of speed. The need for speed. You see, look at these titles. Fast and Furious. You're fast and you think you're furious. You need the need for speed. I've got an urge to drive fast. And you know, when you're driving fast, okay, in your senses, what about when you're stoned? But there's bare mans that drive fast cars. Bare mans that drive fast cars, stoned, on a high. They'll get few lads, buy a tenner's bag 20, they'll roll a few Rizzlers up and boom. Then they'll get into their cars and think, I need to get a thrill. Unfortunately now, our youth are on coke. Cocaine's huge on the street. Coke. Coke took out of their heads, and boom, they're in the moment. They just want to let this urge and this speed. You know, psychologists say there's a part of the brain called the dopamine. It's empty and it always needs to be filled. And every time you do something that's exciting, that part of your brain, the dopamine, feels good. And every time it feels good, and the goodness wears out, that feeling wears out, he says, I want to do it again. And they said that addiction to pornography, addiction to racing fast cars, drugs, women, it's that part in your head which, when you've had that feeling once, twice, you want it again and again. You want that happy feeling. I feel happy, I feel good. When he feels happy and he feels so good about things, eventually that habit becomes second nature. So what was once, twice, three times becomes a habit, and then becomes second nature, and when it becomes second nature, and it's part of his system and he can't change it, then he has to go back to it every time. The drugs, the women, the money, the gambling, huge issue. Our young lads downloading Bet365 and William Hill and Betfred onto their mobile phones and placing £10 and £20 bets. How many of our youth are doing that? And it's happening just to fill that emptiness, thinking, I feel good. Why do people smoke? They said people who are always on bud, weed, skunk, these people, when they wake up in the morning, they're paranoid. They want to hit someone, they're angry. This is what drugs does to them. This is how they start feeling, paranoia kicks in. And when you've got cars, I know I've got lots of friends. Some of them are sat here, others are not here, they're probably watching. All over the country who buy and sell cars, who hire cars out. That's the business, nature of their business. Hires them out, buys cars. We look at flashy cars and we think, wow, we live in a fake world. That's the truth. What are these cars? It's nothing, it's a machine. A car gets you from A to B. Yes, you want a bit of comfort, you want to look nice, you want to look good, you want to feel good. You know, that's why do they have insurance brackets? Why is it that anybody under the age of 25 can't drive an E63 or a C63? There's a reason. 25 is an age of maturity. 30, 35, 40, yes, you'll get moments of madness. Moments. But generally you're mature. When an 18-year-old is behind that wheel and he's driving around on Great Horton Lane and on Leeds Road and Winslow Road horning like madmen, trying to prove a point. Yeah, look at me, I've got a bad car. Trying to get female attention. Trying to get beef with another man. My car's faster than yours. Come on, let's line it up. Let's take it onto the motorway. Let's take each other on. How do you know? There's debris in the motorway. One slip, just one slip, and your life's gone. One moment, it just takes an instant second. You can't, it's not in your hands. What's in your hands and control is the car. But what's ahead of you, you don't even know. You don't even know what's ahead of you, what's coming, how sharp the bend is. Why are you taking the bend at 50, 60 when it's a 30 bend? Why do you think we have speed signs? You know, speed cameras, we hate them. Everyone hates them when they get flashed. But they're there for a reason. The reason they're there is because we ain't good enough drivers. We need to be told to stay within the limit. That's the reality of why speed cameras are there. They're only there to protect you. Seatbelt is only there to protect you. Speed limits are only there to protect you and make your life safer. What are you saying? I'll take on the biggest battle of my life. The biggest battle of my life is what? I'll take life and death on itself. He's driving in that car and boom, as soon as he impacts and crashes, 18, 19, 20-year-olds in ICU. Manchester, famous example. The three brothers or three friends, lads that were in that car, all three of them died. Two on the spot, one died after. Why? Because it was somebody's wedding. I think it was one of their sister's wedding. And it impacted them and boom, life was gone. Finished. Finito, had nothing left. The janazah was massive. Tens of thousands turned out, as in Salik's case, Athar's case. May Allah have mercy on their souls. Tens of thousands turned out. Wow. Huge janazah. How do you know what the parents are going through? What the brothers are feeling? I asked Athar's brother, speak. He says, I can't do it. I asked Amjad, he's standing, he's championing this. He's standing and he's got the slogan, think speed, think Salik. There's Salik's photo there. He was talking and he was looking at his son as he was talking. Memories coming back, thoughts coming back. The difficulty of losing a brother doing his janazah, losing a sister doing her janazah, losing a son and doing his janazah. How hard is it? You know, we always say we want to do the janazah of our parents, so our parents don't go through the suffering of having to wash us. But then imagine when a parent has to go through the suffering of washing us. How hard it is for a parent, the impact it has on their life. for a few moments of fun, few fast driving here and there, just for a thrill, to please the boys. For what? To cause your mother harm for the rest of her life, to pain her heart, to make her and see her cry when she comes to your grave. Why? Why risk your life? Why risk everything? These deaths that have happened are not natural deaths. These are deaths that have been caused by dangerous, reckless driving. That's why they call death by dangerous driving, death by reckless driving. It could be situated, or it could be termed as manslaughter, murder of the first degree, second degree, manslaughter. It could be any one of them. The person who's done it may have to serve time. If charges are pressed against him, he'll have to go down 10, 15, 20, 30 years. He might have to do a life sentence depending on how severe it is. You want to risk your life in prison? Why? Because you killed someone. Because you thought you were Nigel Manson. You thought you were Michael Schumacher. You thought you were a fast driver. You're a good driver. If you've got the urge to drive, if you've got a license and a fast car, go take it onto a racetrack. Go take it onto a racetrack and race on a racetrack where it's safer, where it's not as hard, where others are not at risk. The moment you start doing it into the streets of Bradford, you know, I was driving up towards a friend's house on Leeds Road, and one of my friends who I was going with yesterday said, you know, at this point here, there were two cars lined up to each other, E63 and a BM M5. Boom, lined up to each other, side by side. The guys smashing the guy's door, ramming the guy's door to get out. They had beef, probably fighting over drugs, women, God knows. And they were fighting each other on the road. Eventually, the man's got into his car and sped off. Boom, he's gone down, taken. I looked at the road, there were bumps on each road. They were doing 70, 80 over bumps. Madness, 70, 80 over bumps. You know, when we were having a discussion before the speech, and they were mentioning how when you're driving at 80, 90 miles per hour, the moment you start braking, the impact is what? At what speed? 40, 30, 60, 50. But the speed he was doing was 100. He managed to slam his brakes in time. But he impacted at 40 and it killed him. That's how fast 40 miles per hour is. It can still kill you. You think 30, 40 miles per hour is slow. You're in traffic and you think, oh man, I'm getting late, boom, and you take it. How do you know who's at risk? There's a reason why these rules and laws are in place, to make society safer. You know, there's a reason why they say, better late than never, better safe than sorry. Why do they have these on motorways? Why do they have it on roads? You'd rather be late than never be there. You'd rather be safe than end up being sorry. Your family crying over you, being impacted by that. And unfortunately, we know, parents know that their sons are doing drugs, they're doing haram, and they're allowing them to drive in fast cars. I tell you, my mother's here watching right now, listening to this speech. I've said to my mum, I says, I want to get a fast car, I want to get a bigger car. She says, no, I can afford it, I can get it, no problem. No chance. You ain't getting it. I says, why? She says, no, that's not the way it should be. I says, why? She says, no, you're not getting a car. I'm 26 and I ask my mum for cars. Today, parents, the kids are 18, 19 and they get them Seat Leons, R's and God knows what else. They finance cars like Volkswagen R's, 170, 180 bhp, 200 bhp, 220 bhp. I've got a car right now, it's an Audi S4, it's remapped. It's 420 brake horsepower. When I first sat in this car, you know what the guy who sold the car to me said? He says, you can, Imam Sahib, throttle this car as much as you want. You can drive it as fast as you want. He says, you will not get used to this car until you've driven it for a good week. He says, you don't know what's wrong with this car, what's happened to this car. It takes time to settle into a car. Our lads hire a car on Friday, they pick it up on Thursday, Friday, give it back on Monday, and they think, I can drive any car fast. Reputation, I'm the getaway driver. Who's seen Lock, Stock and Smoking Barrels? You know, Tyrone, the black guy. You know Tyrone, the black guy, isn't he the getaway driver? Or he's part of the crew and then they've got a getaway driver. Everyone thinks they're getaway drivers and they're mechanics. You watch too many movies. It's too much impact on your lives. That's why you see these things, you watch these things and you think, yeah, I can do it as well. Earn it. Stay within limits. It's not a joke. A car is a serious machine. It can be a death trap, or it can be a vehicle that gets you from A to B. And there's a fine line between death trap. It doesn't have to be, as Steve mentioned, a E63 or a C63 or an M5 or a Aventador or a Lamborghini Murcielago. It doesn't have to be any of these. It could simply be, as in the case of our young brother Adnan who passed away. What car was he in? It was in a Seat Leon. It wasn't a fast car, 56 plate if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't a fast car, it wasn't a supercar. But he took the bend at a speed which he thought maybe he'd have it under control. But Allah knows best. And the car ended up where? When I seen the newspaper, the car was halfway tilted. Can you imagine what, at that moment, just put yourself into the moment where the car is going at that speed. When you brake, you think, I'm safe, it's good. Imagine the seconds that it takes when the car's toppling over and how you're feeling. You telling me you're reading the kalima at that time? Are you telling me the kalima is on your mind? If you not be reading it throughout your life, it's very, very difficult that at that time you're going to be reading the kalima. If dhikr is what you do all the time, then at that time you'll be doing dhikr as well. But it's very hard. At that time you'll be crying, screaming, shouting. I know people that are alive who went through, who've been in major road accident collisions, major ones. And if Allah has willed, they've got out the car unscathed. Not a single mark on them. Why? Because death was not written for them then. Death was not written. And I'll tell you, as comfort, Salik's maut was written then. Addar's maut was written then. They were meant to leave the dunya then. There's nothing that could change that. But the cause of that was what? Partial responsibility comes to us. How we drive, what we do on the roads. How we are with people, how we are with these powerful cars. Look, there's good and bad in this dunya. There's so much bad in this dunya. Look, it's how you treat things, what you do with it. The car's fast, you could either throttle. I have a friend, I know, Farhan will tell you from Huddersfield. He's got an RS7, 720 bhp. It is a seriously fast car. Seriously fast car. And I asked him a question, I said, do you ever throttle this car? He says, never. I says, well, you got it for then? He says, I just drive it slowly. He says, it's not me. I says, you've got a fast car. You know, the urge, do you not? He says, no urges. Because he's got too much to lose. All right, forget the properties, the business, just life itself. Is it worth losing over a car? The guy lost his life over a car. The guy lost his life over a moment of madness. Just a few moments. For what? Parents need to take responsibility. We're letting our kids out after 12 o'clock. We're letting them hire cars. You know, my mother, till today, she's never let me hire a car. Ever. If I said, Mum, give me money to hire a car, she'll say, never, ever. You think me haram? The terminology they use, haram ram paise lane. Your dad's worked all his life, we've been saving up for you to go and blow money on a car. Come on, is life worth it? Is that what Allah's given you wealth for? He's giving it for you to earn the paradise, to earn the pleasure of Allah, not for you to go and blow it on a car. Because you've got a car, you're going to go blow it on a... That's not what Allah's given you it for. That's not why Allah has given you money that you go and hire a car out and you smash it against. That's not the way it should be. Allah Almighty is giving you life. Life is precious. Life has a huge purpose. And life was not created for you to lose it driving recklessly. Parents need to take responsibility. The people who hire cars out, some people, there's some companies out there, some lads out there, 18, 19-year-old, 1,500, I'll give you 2 grand, give me it. They'll say, no problem, take it. We're getting money. They will be partially responsible. Why are they giving cars out to 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds? They need to be more strict. If it's a corporate business, then keep it corporate. Don't let it become childish. Don't let children involved. Don't get them involved into this game. It's not for them. Don't get them involved in getting cars. prom dates and prom nights at 16. I'm going to get a car chauffeur driven. I've come in a Bentley and I've come in a Rolls Royce. Why? To prove what point? To who? You live your life to prove points to this world, but the world care about you. The dunya has no care or hope about you. The dunya is not bothered about you. You're just a fragment on this earth. 1 in 7 billion that exists and lives and coexists in this earth. You're nothing, you're a microscope, nothing, minute. And you think, wow, I'm everything. No, you're not. You're not everything. You're not the Nigel Mansell and you're not the Michael Schumacher. Because if you're so much into racing, go get proper training and become a Formula 1 driver. A day to drive a car, a machine that goes 200, 250 miles per hour. Go train yourself and do that. If you're really into speed and driving, but don't do it on the streets. Don't be racing on the streets. Underground racing, don't be doing none of that. Because you're putting your own life at risk, you're putting others' life at risk. And in the end, who's crying? It's the family members that are left behind. It's your own. Your mother's crying and your father's crying and your brother's crying. They are crying in the end, and that's what you want to cause them. 18 years is nothing. 18 years is nothing. How old would Athar be today? He'd be 20 years old. I'm 27 years old. I remember Athar growing up in the area, local area. Being at his mother's house in Jesmond Avenue, I remember him so clearly. Athar's innocent face, beautiful child. But gone. All we have is memories of the kid. The same with Salik. All we have is memories of the guy. That's all we have of these young brothers who lost their lives. Just pictures are left. Images, their clothes are left. Do you want to be in that situation? Do you want to be in there? No, you don't. You don't want to be one of those. You don't. Trust me. That's not what you want to be. That's not where you want to be. That's why be responsible. Take responsibility. And do what is right. Don't do what is wrong. Think. Thinking is very important. Before you do anything, think. Is it good for me? Is it bad for me? Is this right for me? Don't look at the next man next to you because he's got a fast car. He's hired a car up. Why are you going to go hire a car up for? Are you stupid? What do you need to hire a car up for? What's wrong with your dad's car? What's wrong with your car that you've got? So it's very important that we understand these things and that we take this message away and that we implement this and we act upon this. First and foremost myself and then yourselves. That we open our eyes and we realize life is not a joke. Life is not a joke, believe me. When you're driving fast, think of those next to you and think of those you left behind. Because when the angel of death comes, he does not look at who you are, what you are. When your time's up, your time is up. And Allah Almighty said, إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهُمْ لَا يَسْتَأْخِرُونَ سَاعَةً وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. When the appointed time is written, it does not move forward an hour and it does not go back an hour. That moment is written, that's it, you're gone. He was not meant to live, he was not meant to survive. So don't put yourself in that situation and circumstance. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do what is right around your people as well. May Allah Almighty give us the tawfiq to act upon that. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.